The Disney Marvel movie Black Panther broke all sorts of records at the box office during its opening weekend. And unfortunately, the movie has become politicized in some negative ways. But first, let's start off with the positive. According to reports, the movie overperformed massively by grossing $201.7 million over the 3-day weekend, the biggest domestic debut for any film that's not a character team-up movie or part of a sequel trilogy. So that's nice, that's fun. Also, the film was powered in part by the second largest Thursday preview night ever at 25.2 million, as well as the second biggest Sunday in film history, 60.1 million, notching just behind The Force Awakens, which came in at $60.6 million. So Black Panther also represents the biggest domestic debut by a Black director. So this is where things, unfortunately, needlessly become political and politicized. So the filmmaker behind this film was Ryan Coogler. He is a Black filmmaker. And also when you look at the cast, you'll notice that, first of all, the co-writers were all Black, and there were no white Americans in featured roles. They were in supporting roles. So nearly half of the film's North American audience, by the way, was female. More than 60% was older than 25, just to give you a sense of the demographic that went in to see the film. It did well, made a lot of money so far. It's expected to make even more money. But some people decided to take this positive story and turn it into negative one. We'll get to that in just a second.
Yeah, so before we get to the madness on this, already there's some degree of madness. Right wing, why would you be opposed to this? I mean, aren't you betraying yourself by being opposed to, and by the way, let's be fair, it's not all right wingers, not all Republicans, but obviously some that are enraged with this. If there's a million movies that are mainly all white casts, what's the big deal about having a movie that's mainly Black cast? So what?
Yeah.
Right? I don't know why that's an issue. Like, I don't have a dog in any of these fights. I'm not really white, I'm not Black, I'm somewhere in between. And I feel like, okay, some movies are white, but it'd be nice to have a diverse set on some of these so that other people can feel represented. But most of the movies are all white, but this is mainly a white country. And that movie happens to be mainly Black. Great. I just don't understand what the big deal is. But it makes Black people look heroic. Maybe that's a potential issue.
So I want to be as fair as possible when covering this story. As far as I've seen, and I might be wrong because I don't have eyes everywhere at all times. As far as I've seen, there haven't been politicians or members of the GOP or public figures who identify as right wing who have come out and said negative things about this film. However, there have been a number of trolls online who have been spreading propaganda about the Black community in regard to this film. So you may have seen some photos pop up on social media, particularly Twitter, which is probably one of the worst places on the internet, where people claimed that they were assaulted by Black audience members as they went to go see the film. Now, all of these accounts have been debunked because the images that they used have been traced back to other images that have absolutely nothing to do with this film. Let's take a look at a few of the examples. Again, these are all fake. These have all been debunked. The first one shows an image of a bloody towel or napkin. The person tweeted, "Was at the Black Panther premiere, but a group of Black youth said this movie wasn't for me. I am white. They then proceeded to assault me. I'm heading to the ER now." That tweet was retweeted about 400 times before it was debunked and taken down by Twitter. So some people are buying into this propaganda. Again, you can't really trace it back to any political group, right? It could just be trolls looking to get a rise out of other people. But the fact that their mind goes there should say something.
No, I'm gonna go further than you. Yeah, I'm gonna connect it to a group. It's right wingers. There aren't progressive racists out there who are like, let me start racist memes. So that is not a phenomenon that exists at any kind of scale in America. Are there right-wing racists online who love to start racist memes? Yes, dime a dozen. And look, I know that a lot of the trolls think that they're funny and they're like, look, I guess I'm a right-winger, but me racist? No, I'm just having fun. But you are telling people, and a lot of people don't know you're kidding. And that's your great amusement. Like, ha, I'm kidding, but they don't know it. It's kind of a weird backwards thing in comedy, right? Like comedians are usually successful when other people realize they're funny and then laugh. They get a rise out of no one realizes that we're liars. Isn't that funny? But in reality, if they don't realize you're lying, they might actually think that black people attacked a white person. Now, that's an anecdote. It happens to be a fake one, but it could scare people. And if you spread it around and around and around, you do it over and over again, you have purposely spread this malicious smear against blacks in America that they randomly attack white people. And that's not funny. That's racist. That's the definition of racism. Black people are bad and violent and attack white people for no reason. By the way, I lied. I made it up because it's not true. But I'm saying it because I'm an effing racist.
And also,
just own it.
I know, but here's the thing: I don't believe anything on Twitter anymore, including.
But Anna, you're savvy about it. Do you have any idea how many people believe everything they see on Twitter?
I know, but listen to what I'm saying. Not that I, of course, I'm not going to believe this kind of like propaganda, racist propaganda. But more importantly, it's hard for me to believe that it's actual people behind these tweets. And what I mean by that is it could be bots. It could be a small group of people that like to, lead to some divide in the country by using whatever technology they have to maximize the number of these types of tweets. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I understand. And it could be that initially it was a couple racists here and then the Russians thought, oh, this is wonderful.
Right.
Ooh, we love racism. It divides America perfectly, right? But either way, it's the 3 R's, right-wingers, racists, and Russians. There are no progressives sending terrible racist memes about black people in America.
So that was just one example. There are several other examples, all of which, again, have been debunked. They've been taken off of social media. Another example showed a Swedish woman who had been assaulted before, way before this movie came out. But the person who sent this tweet out said, I went to see Black Panther with my girlfriend and a black teenager shouted, "You at the wrong theater," and smashed a bottle on her face. Yeah, that's again a Swedish girl who was assaulted in a completely different incident years ago. Another example, a man laying in a hospital bed with black eyes. The person said, "They threw me out of the theater and said it wasn't my movie. I don't have insurance and can't see." That was 23-year-old Michael Voller, who was hit in the face in London in May of 2017 in an attack that was reportedly precipitated by anger over the results of a soccer game. And it goes on, and I'm gonna skip a couple of them and just go straight to Graphic 83. One person also used Rob Porter's wife's image to make it seem as though she was attacked while seeing this movie.
And they're pretending, of course, that she was a different person, but that is particularly ironic. The right wing using the ex-wife of a right-winger who had committed domestic abuse against her in the allegations that have been laid out recently about Rob Porter. So a Republican beats up his wife, then they use the picture to say black people did it at a Black Panther movie screening. Well, look, one last, couple last things here. One, if it's the Russians or whoever it is, some people in Macedonia, whatever it might be, right? All I know is it is almost consistently done to the benefit of the right-wingers. And so they just keep pounding at this issue of race, and then they'll turn around and go, you guys are race obsessed. We're not the ones spreading fake news about how black people attack white people randomly. You're the monsters that are doing that. And then, by the way, the good news is it was wildly unsuccessful. As Anna pointed out, huge opening weekend. So that's a happy note. The country is not anywhere near as racist as these guys make them out to be, and as right-wing as these guys make them out to be. They make it seem like, oh, Trump won, so the whole country's racist and right-wing. They won't say racist, but they'll say, is against unlimited immigration and banning Muslims and black crime and all that stuff, right? But it turns out, no, a lot of people went to see the movie, and finally, what happened? I thought right-wingers were in favor of the free market. Free market has spoken. They love the movie. So this is you trying to fight back in pathetic ways, and at least there's other things like our show to call you out. That's probably what drives them crazy about our show. So J.R. Jackson is our producer. You guys see him on camera all the time. He has black superheroes tattooed on his arms. So he had the Black Panther before the Black Panther was cool. There it is. And he's also got Luke Cage on his arms as well. These are all before the shows came out, the movies came out, and he had done this.
Upon realizing that he was into Black Panther prior to this movie even coming out, he decided to buy a loft in Brooklyn. He is now also drinking organic, trade-free coffee, or free trade coffee, whatever.
Because he's a hipster who was onto trends before the trends even existed. But anyway, I love to say "told you." This is not really a "told you," but apparently JR ahead of the times. So movie producers, look at the rest of the tattoos. You'll have your next movie. If you become a member of the Young Turks, you'll be saying,
"You know, I'm like a smart person."
So do it right now. TYTnetwork.com/join. Get the whole Young Turks show every day.